Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome back to Virtue's Last Reward. We're almost done, it looks like, and we've only got a few more routes left to take. So we've got the red door all the way up here that we would hit. We've got this one lock we just opened, and we've still got this one on the left. Now, I was told that going for this lock we just opened would be a pretty decent idea, which we will be doing. But instead of going for the red door next, we should actually save that for the last and try to go back here next. I was also given both the username and the password, which I received on like Dio's ending and stuff, but I just forgot to write it down. Or actually, I think I did write it down, but I wrote it down on a different piece of paper and stuff. But I was given it again, so thank you. I appreciate that. Saves me some time. But we're going to start off with this, and assuming we have some more time left, we may head back over to the mystery of the two-headed lion computer thing. So, what can we possibly do to save ourselves with our 5 minutes of life? Every problem, no matter how difficult, has a solution. There's always another option. Hopelessness is a state of mind. I just had to think. Think. If there's a way out, I'd find it. I wasn't ready to give up on life yet. There had to be an answer. You're a robot, Sigma. Oh, nothing, just being a robot. Robot arms. Astute observations all around.
Sigma-sanの両腕の中には人間の骨とは明らかに異なった骨格が存在しています。つまり、シグマさんの両腕はサイバネティックアームだったということに。
What the heck was that? I have cybernetic arms? It was both shocking and utterly obvious. Of course my arms were artificial, of course. Titanium alloy bones with an ABT exterior to mimic human skin. But I had no idea why. Nor did I know when my human arms, which I distinctly remembered having, had been replaced. And that flash of Luna I'd seen. I was certain it had never happened. Those things hardly mattered, though. If I survived, I could worry about them later. The fact that my arms were mechanical, however, that might be useful. Anyone got a big knife? I called up all the strength I had left and stood one more time. What are you waiting for? Why don't you open it already? Oh, I think I see what he's gonna do. I'd suspected this might work, but I'm not sure on it. Did I stutter? Open the number 9 door.
Sigma! 何を言ってるんですか? Sigma-san.
I feel... Have you guys ever, like, swum too long? And your eyes, like, swum too long in a pool with chlorine and your eyes get all stingy? That's what this looks like.
ついに自暴自棄になっちまいやがったか。まあいい。言われなくてもそうするつもりだったよ。
Then hurry up and...
待ってよ。そうせかすなって。
we're on a bit of a rush.
おい、K。お前の BP も確か9だったよな。ええ。お前はどうする？一緒に行くか？私はここに。
Oh, really?
残ります。
That's interesting.
どうして？
シグマさんがこんな状態なのに。
Don't worry about me. Go. You have to get outside and call for help.
いや、しかし。
Do you think Dio will? If he's the only one who gets out of here, there's no hope for the rest of us. You're the only one we can count on. His head got short. Dio's head! Look at their heads! And Kay's head! Oh, Kay's head looked like a pencil.
決まりだな。 行くぞケイ。
よせ、やめろ。
Fi began to move, but it was already too late. Dio grabbed the lever and threw it down.
Q
それじゃあな。あばよ。
皆さん、必ず助けを呼んで戻ってきます。ですから、希望を捨てずに。
Yeah, I know. Just get going already. But... just you, Kay.
Eh?
As Dio turned to look at me, I crouched. Then, calling up on every last bit of strength my wearied body could supply, I launched myself towards him like a coiled spring. I slammed into his legs, knocking him to the floor and wrapping my hands around his ankle before he could back up. He could get back up.
おいてめえ、何しやがんだこの野郎。扉が閉まっちまうじゃねえかよ。離せ離せ離せっつってんだろうがこら。
He lashed out with his free leg at my head, shoulders, and arms, but I held on. I ignored the pain, tightening my grip with every blow.
おい、これは一体何の真似だ。どうしてこんなことする。約束だったらちゃんと守っただろうが。
Yeah, so did I. Far as I recall, I didn't say anything about letting you escape.
嫌がらせ。くそ。 ふざけんなよてめえ。とにかく俺は何としてでもここを出なきゃならねえんだ。ただの嫌がらせなんかで俺の崇高な任務を邪魔されてたまるかよ。
Dio began to pull himself along with his elbows, bit by bit edging closer to the exit. He was headed straight through the door, but the gate was already beginning to close. With only a few feet to spare before it shut, he crawled across the threshold and beyond the door.
シグマ、もういいよ。もう十分だよ。手をはこのままでは扉に挟まれるぞ。
I think that's what he wants. Heh. Alright. See you later, Dio.
しかし最後の最後まで間抜けな男だったなお前は。とっととくたばりやがれ。この死に損ないが。
No. I'm going to live.
Eh?
Ow! Ooh. Ooh, robot arms sound painful. I mean, we've discussed in the comments that he did feel pain, so that was probably still rather painful, I would imagine. You know, honestly, it's possible, I think, for everyone in this game to have done that. They just, would have had bloody stump arms instead of robot arms. I'm just saying. I mean, maybe if we had, like, something to cauterize the wounds or something, it might not be the worst thing, to be one-armed stump person.
なお、ゲームの終了にとどうぞごゆっくりと残りの余生を。
The announcer's voice grated at the inside of my skull. I felt tired. So very tired. I felt my eyes flutter closed. And then, nothing. Is that it? That's not it, right? Okay, I was about to say, that would be highly disappointing if I'd been waiting this long for that lock, and almost nothing of use came out of it. We just end up just passing out there on the floor and the game's over.
シグマさん、シグマ。あ、ようやく目を覚ましたか。
Where am I? I rubbed my eyes and slid my legs off the bed to stand up. Well, to be honest, it was an examination table, not a bed. Which meant... the infirmary, huh?
気を失ったあなたをみんなで運んでくれたみたいよ。
You guess?
私は直接見たわけじゃないから。あなたと同じように気絶しちゃってたの。AB ルームの中で。
Why?
K に突然お腹をドンってされて。最低よね、あいつ。暴力で投票権を奪い取るなんて。
Whoa. And after he knocked you out, he voted betray, which brought his BP up to 9.
ええ。
So, where is he now?
9の扉から出て行きました。ディオと一緒にね。行けと言ったのはお前だろ。
Oh, yeah.
ところで、腕の方は大丈夫。
I have no idea. Arm?
事の顛末は全て聞いた。お前さんの腕がサイバネティックアームだということも知っておる。もっともその事実を知ってもさして驚くことはなかったがな。なんとなくそうではないかとうすうす察しておったから。
See, it was funny because we were thinking about this and I'm trying to figure out how we'd be able to do this. Because, I mean, if we got a big knife, we'd, be able to do it somewhat, but then we'd hit those like titanium bones, which would probably not falter to a knife. So I'm just trying to think, how could he possibly sever his robot arm? What do we possibly have in here that could do that? And I was just, and I thought back to something I thought at the beginning of the game, that you'd want to be careful, like, going through the door at the last second, because it could, like, cut off your arm or something. And then all the lines suddenly came together. I looked down at my left hand. Or, rather, I looked down at where my left hand should have been. Instead, there was a stub, wrapped in white gauze. I told myself I'd do anything to get the cure, even if it meant letting Dio betray me. But I had a feeling I might come to miss my hand. Well, it is a cybernetic arm, so I mean, theoretically, we could get a new one. Oh, yeah. How is Quirk? Hi. Quirk. Man, I'm glad you're alright. Feeling better? Oh good, we're all one big happy family stuck in this tomb forever.
シグマさん、ディオのやつから抗ウイルス薬奪い返してくれたんでしょ。それをルナさんに打ってもらったんだ。ありがとう。本当にありがとう。シグマさん。
It seemed that they'd shared stories while I was asleep. Everyone knew now that I'd made a deal with Dio, and about the journal we'd found with the Latin in it. Clover and Phi seemed to have done most of the talking.
それにしても逆だったとは驚きです。私たちが感染者だったわけじゃなくて、外にいる人たちの方が感染者だったなんて。
Well, I mean, we kind of figured that out through some of the other endings, but still, that's kind of cool.
もしもそれが本当なら、ここは隔離施設じゃなくて保護施設ってことになりますけど。
いや、まだそうと決まったわけではない。私も最初はそう思ったんだが、シグマに矛盾点を指摘されてな。
Yeah, Phi and I have already gone over it, but I explained what I had noticed. 1. If we were in a shelter for uninfected people, why had Cork been infected? Any place designed to keep a virus like that out would have a lot of safeguards to keep anything from getting in. Had the virus really bypassed all those measures? It didn't seem likely. 2. The timing of our abduction and the pandemic's outbreak was strange. It would make sense if we'd been rescued after the disease had become widespread, but that wasn't what had happened. First, we'd been abducted. Then, the pandemic had broken out. Almost like someone from the future maybe abducted us. We didn't know why Zero had put us in the non-re game. If we were survivors and he wanted to protect, then why try and kill us? If we were in a shelter, why wasn't it safe? And that's what is the most perplexing about the whole thing.
こういう可能性はどうかな。
まず何者かがあらかじめこの何者かが誰なのかはわからない。多分ゼロだとは思うんだけど。でその人はウイルスが蔓延する前に私たちを保護、このシェルターに収容した。だけどしばらく経ったら退屈になってきちゃったから暇つぶしにゲーム。
A perfectly reasonable thing for people to do. Who on earth would make people he rescued play a game where they could just die because he was bored?
でも本当にバングルに毒薬が仕込まれてるかどうかわからないじゃん。
I can assure you there is. What?
今のところ注射を打たれたことがあるのはシグマだけで、だけどそれも第一の薬マンドレインだけだったわけで。
What are you saying? That's what I did at the what I did at the number 9 door is all pointless?
そうは言ってないけど。
いえ、それはありえません。バングルの中には間違いなくハイメトリン、禁止アダムの解析結果からこのことは明らかです。
アダムが嘘をついてたら？
それを言ったらもう何もかも推理のしようがありませんよ。新聞記事だってラテン語で書かれた日記だって全部捏造されたものかもしれませんからね。
あるいは日記は本物だが私の役は嘘だったとかな。
You made it up?
いや、翻訳に間違いはない。ただそういう可能性についていちいち挙げていったらキリがないと言いたかっただけだ。
Basically, if you poke a hole in anything, any of this could fall apart.
とにかくゼロがひつまぶしで芸者をもてなしたとは考えにくい。
え？
Yeah, what?
間違えた。とにかくゼロが暇つぶしでゲームを行ったとは考えにくい。
How do you make that mistake?
とはいえ四つ葉の話を頭ごなしに全否定するのもどうかと思う。
Meaning?
何者かがパンデミックの発生についてという可能性についてなら
パンデミックが人為的に引き起こされたものだとするならありえないこともないですね。
だよね。ノアの箱舟だって洪水が起こってから動物たちを船に乗せたわけじゃないし、洪水が起こる前のことでしょ。ノアさんがそれをしたのは。
つまり種の保存のために我々は保護されたというわけか。
近い将来に発生するであろうパンデミックによって人類という種は絶滅の危機に瀕してしまうかもしれない。どこかの誰かがそう考えて私たちを捕獲したと。
Repopulate? Huh. I looked down and did a quick inventory. Four women, an old man, and a kid. That meant that I was the only young fertile male. Repopulation, huh? That didn't sound so bad. If that was the case, maybe there wasn't any reason to escape. The newspaper and the journal were right, then the world outside was crawling with a deadly virus. I actually read an article today. Now, keep in mind, this is just from, I didn't check the validity on such articles. But I read a few articles today saying something like how, in order to have a human population that would be relatively safe from being killed off by any type of what do you call it? By being killed off by any type of diseases from inbreeding, that you would have to have a population of there were a couple different types of figures which made it confusing, but they said if conditions were really good, you could do it with 80 people. If they weren't so good, you'd want more 120. And then I've even seen another one that said something about how you'd want 5,000 people in order to keep to realistically restart a population, if that makes sense. Anyway, keep going. I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing that I read that just today. Why would we go to expose ourselves like that? This would be the safest, happiest place on Earth.
Now, this is
the first inning where we've actually had a considerable amount of time after the game's ended while we were still in the facility before, like, the game just got game overed.
考えても仕方がなかろう。そんなことはない。ゲームは終わってもまだまだわからないことだらけではないか。むしろますます謎は深まるばかりだ。
じゃがそれを考えて何になる。答えが出たら9の扉が開くのか。もう終わりなんじゃよ、何もかも。理由はどうあれ、わしらはここに閉じ込められたまま一生を終えることになる。わしら8人は永遠にこの施設から出ることはできんのじゃ。
8?
亡くなったあの老婆も。
Oh yeah, I forgot the old woman still exists in this route, doesn't she?
そうじゃ。
ねえ、思ったんだけどさ、あの老婆がゼロボスって可能性はないの？
I mean, she doesn't look like the image we've seen of Zero Senior, but I guess it's a possibility. Yeah, you're right. We never even considered that.
でも、私たちをさらってきた犯人が誰かに殺されるってどういうことよ。殺されたんじゃないのかもよ。え？
つまり自ら命を絶ったということか。ラジカル6に感染して。
I guess that's a possibility. But we didn't find a knife or any kind of weapon in the AB room with her.
運び込まれたんじゃない？どこか別の場所で自殺してから。
What? That's ridiculous.
とにかくもう一度老婆の体を調べてみよう。もしかしたら何か手がかりになるようなものを持ってるかもしれないし。
Sure. Okay. We looked down at the body of the old woman. Phi was the first to move. Quietly and methodically, she began to examine the woman in her clothes. I just stood there. Even if she was dead, no, especially because she was dead, I just didn't feel right touching her. With your robot arms? After a few silent minutes, Phi suddenly stopped. She pulled something from one of the old woman's sleeves and held it out towards me. Kurashiki, a card?
この施設の ID カードのようだな。写真がプリントされているから彼女のものと考えて間違いなかろう。
Huh. Looks like her name is Kurashiki. Kurashiki. Ever heard it before?
いや、お前は？
No. Anything on the back? Pass equals Jumpy Doll. There was that one file that we had, secret file about Jumpy Doll I was told not to read for a long time. I wonder if that's gonna be relevant at some point. Huh. There's something written here. Or maybe this will just be another lock that we can pass later with this. It says Jumpy Doll.
頭のところにパスイコールとあるから何かのパスワードかもしれないな。
What does that mean?
ああ。
Looks handwritten. She must have put it on here herself so she wouldn't forget it.
だと思う。
We were still looking the card over when I heard a commotion from the other part of the room.
アリス、どうしたの？アリスさん。
お前、そんなものを持って一体何をするつもりじゃ？
Phi and I turned around and gasped.
行こう。
We ran to the other end of the room and skidded around the partition. Alice, please. We don't have any more of this Axelavir. There stood Alice, her hand wrapped tightly around the scalpel. She didn't seem to be stable. Her eyes were flat and hollow. Her face was an emotionless mask. She was not well. The look on her face was all too familiar. Yep. Quark. She looked just like Quark, but that meant...
Sayonara.
Her hand moved, lifting the scalpel up high in the air, then driving it down towards her heart. What, that's it? No one did anything. Sigma, you couldn't do anything with your robot arms? With your robot arm? Dang it, Sigma. Dang it, Sigma. Quark end. I guess it's kind of a Quark end. I mean, we did get that medicine for him. But other than that, there wasn't a whole lot of Quark in that. Honestly, I would have had that be more of a Sigma end. Oh well. Alright, oh, I didn't even take a... Okay, let's take a look. So, we're not going to do another bit today because this took up all of my time. But next time we're going to come back to here. We're going to input the password and username that I got. And I guess go through that route. I don't know how long that's going to take. It's been a while since we've been on that route, so I may need to do a quick refresher of everything that's happened for the sake of being able to remember all that, because we haven't been on that route in so long. So yeah, I'll do a quick refresher course for myself, and then we'll head back, and then I guess we'll save the red door for last. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!